When it comes to investing, just like in life, there are things you cannot control. Geopolitical events, interest rates, and even presidential tweets can all impact your investments. But there's not a lot you can do about it. Unfortunately, we don't have crystal balls to predict what's going to happen tomorrow, or next week, or 5 years from now. That's why we hold diversified portfolios, to help mitigate these risks. But there is one thing you can do, as it's in your control, and it's often overlooked, but it's extremely important. It's your asset allocation. But how do you know if you have the right asset allocation? Hi, my name is Chris Kovalchuk, and I'm an Associate Portfolio Manager at Claret Asset Management. Your asset allocation is a very important part of creating and balancing your investment portfolio. After all, it's one of the main factors that impacts your overall returns. Establishing an appropriate asset mix is a very dynamic process. Choosing your asset allocation is a lot like choosing a bottle of wine for dinner, or at least that's how I feel. You're at the store, browsing wines you've never heard of. Maybe you're looking for the prettiest label. Maybe you're searching for a country or a region. Maybe you're checking what the guy next to you is buying. The problem is, unless you're a wine connoisseur, it's hard to know how the wine will taste before you open it. Speaking to a store clerk or wine expert before you buy can give you a better idea of what you're getting into. And the same can be said of your portfolio manager. Think of your portfolio manager as a world-class wine sommelier, guiding your investments to make sure you're getting what you really want. So how do you decide what's in your asset allocation? Again, it's kind of like choosing a wine. Do you want a red, a white, a rosé, or sparkling? Or, in portfolio terms, do you want stocks, bonds, cash, and/or alternative investments? Like wine, there too are subcategories. Red wine could be a Merlot, a Shiraz, or a Pinot Noir. Similarly, your asset class can be broken down between REITs, cyclical stocks, ETFs, and more. But that's a story for another day. The most important question to ask is, what is the best mix for you? Academics have written many papers about the optimal asset allocation based on historical returns. However, hindsight, as we know, is 20/20. We can't manage a portfolio by focusing on the past. We live in the present. To determine the right asset allocation for your investments, you need to consider your goals and your lifestyle. There are 3 main asset class allocation groupings: income, growth, and a mix between the two, which is appropriately called balanced. Income portfolios are designed to generate income for their holders, who are typically nearing retirement or retired. Income portfolios often consist of fixed income securities, which pay you money throughout the year, as well as dividend-paying stocks. Now, there's an old rule of thumb that says your percentage allocation to bonds should be around the same number as your age, meaning if you're 20 years old, you should have 20% of your wealth in fixed income. And if you're 90 years old, 90% in fixed income. However, in a 0% interest rate world, this rule of thumb no longer makes any sense. Growth portfolios, on the other hand, are designed for people who are just beginning their careers and want to build long-term wealth. The assets don't need to generate income. The investors are actively employed and living off their salary to pay their expenses. For the most part, growth portfolios are invested in common stocks. In bull markets, which are markets with rising prices, growth portfolios tend to outperform their counterparts significantly. In bear markets, which are markets with falling prices, the opposite happens, and they are hit the hardest. But, as I mentioned, there's a happy medium between an income portfolio and a growth portfolio, and that is the balanced portfolio. Combining both the income and growth asset allocation models is a nice compromise. For most people, a balanced portfolio is the best option. Portfolios based on the balanced model have attempted to strike a compromise between the long-term growth and current income. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. But the ideal result is a mix of assets that generate income as well as capital appreciation over time, with smaller fluctuations in quoted principal value than the all-growth portfolio. Now, you and I both know that our needs will change over time as we move through the various stages of life. For that reason, portfolio managers will recommend switching over a portion of your assets to a different model several years prior to anticipated major life changes. An investor who is 5 years away from retirement, for example, might find himself moving 10% of his holdings into an income-oriented allocation model each year. By the time he retires, the entire portfolio will reflect his new objectives. At Claret, we offer balanced growth and balanced income investment portfolios to help make sure your portfolio is aligned to best serve your needs during these transitional years. Just like choosing the perfect bottle of wine, choosing the right asset allocation is all about your lifestyle and personal taste. Do you feel your asset allocation is keeping up with your lifestyle? Do you look at your asset allocation on a before tax or after tax perspective? Have you ever thought about how asset location impacts your asset allocation? Maybe it's time to call a sommelier for a second opinion. Your portfolio manager can answer any questions you might have and help you design an asset allocation strategy that works for you. Thank you for watching. For more investing tips, visit our website at claret.ca. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button.